Okay, we're back. I don't know why it just cut out. Testing. Are we live? No, we're not live. We're recording.
People making, like, I don't know, a show. You remember when The Office was a whole thing and that became people's identities was The Office, or like hair?
Oh, this was like, what's it called? Shifting. Yeah, shifting.
Harry Potter, anime.
Don't you remember? I got the hiccups now. You remember when like people shifted to be what was that ship that was like stuck in the cargo? People like shifted into that ship and were like, "Oh dear God, it was so bad. It was so bad. I felt so claustrophobic, so so tight, bro. Like, bro, why would you shift into that?
Same stuff.
Shift into like a cool fantasy and like Harry Potter, Hogwarts, you know that?
The athletes or people that do these things hold the
Yeah, if you were like, if it's your job to be like fit, yeah, that's cool. But if you make it like, your personality, like, come on, bro. Just don't be a gym rat. Don't be like your whole thing.
notion over that. It's like, yeah, I don't think I could really live without it, and I'm just a lot healthier because of it. Does that make sense? Is that a good?
So you're saying you don't like people who commit their life to sports?
That's not what I said. You can commit your life to a sport. I have more respect for you if you can. I'm saying when you make it your personality. The people wearing the alien helmet.
This freak. Sniffing everyone. Ooh.
Nylon fiber outfits, and they're going on a trail ride, and they're not competing. Who was that for? Other than for you to be like, I'm a part of the clan. I'm a part of the tribe.
Part of the what? Part of the what?
That doesn't make any sense. Don't keep it in the video. I'm just saying my gripes. In 1992, a man named Carlson was fed up with how aggressive cyclists were treated. It was common to have insults hurled at you, and in some cases, even being bumped on the road. Good citizen. He decided to take to the streets alongside a giant group of cyclists to ride home, using the strength and numbers to force cars to let them have the road. This is what became,
you know, that was painful. That hurt like shit, bro.
Known as critical mass. But what exactly
let's
a giant group of
that.
cyclists being bumped on the road? Good citizen. He decided to take to the streets alongside a giant
this guy who
group of cyclists to ride home, using the strength and critical standing monthly cycling event where hundreds of cyclists would gather and flood the streets. It was essentially a party that traveled in a group.
That's a crazy way.
Where hundreds of cyclists would gather and flood the streets. It was essentially a party.
Crazy wig. I respect it.
That traveled in a group across the city. Are you on my side yet? A petty group of 100 cyclists, 100 baristas getting together and being like, we're gonna go throughout the whole street. All of them. I don't care. During rush hour. People will just work 9 hours. I don't care. Gotta get my cardio in. And they have to suffer. It took place on the last Friday of every month. The last Friday of every month! You have to rearrange your plans for the cyclist in the city.
Yeah, okay? It's like the cicadas, bro. It's like a natural event, bro.
The main goal of critical mass is to essentially send a message to drivers that
like rush hour.
The streets belong to more than just them. Because of this, part of the event is to irritate drivers for being selfish and for not sharing the space.
It's just being like, hey, we're not the only one who is allowed to be here. Like, bro, chill the fuck out.
By being selfish and being a petty piece of shit who has to dress in the nylon thing with the alien helmet and ride around with their gay friends. Keep the gay in.
Jesus Christ, bro.
Saying gay isn't not cool, not homosexual, Nick. This is likely because
he was gay as a derogatory term.
There was no proper accommodating infrastructure to allow cyclists to travel safely alongside traffic. Probably because when people were building cities, they never thought, God, there's gonna be freaks roaming the streets on 2 wheels, riding around. Everyone else in the world is in cars. Anything for bikes, that person was probably stoned to death. Anybody back in the day who's like, what about bikes? What about bikes?
Because the thing is, America industrialized during the invention of cars, and Europe industrialized before cars, you know?
Sickles, they probably took one of those, like, the stone slings, and they're like, you know what I mean?
And David did them.
It was common for them to completely take over the road, getting in the way of any driver who happened.
This is unnecessary as hell, bro.
To be near them. So petty. Like a guy's just driving, they're just like, ooh, 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 ooh.
Getting as close as he can. She get like smashing on the windows.
I'm turning! I'm turning! They even created their own move called corking, which is when you and other cyclists purposely cut off intersections to allow the swarm to push through safely and uninterrupted. Corking! My God, there's even a diagram of how it's done. I want to reiterate, I don't care if you ride bicycles. If a guy's like, sure, man, I'll go.
They're inventing like war tactics, bro. This is war.
Like mountain biking or whatever. You know how hard that must be? Insane. Imagine a guy's like, sure, yeah, I love riding. Yeah, that's cool. Where are we going? Downtown. Have you corked yet? Critical mass is no longer practiced as much today, except for a few cities here and there like San Francisco, where it originated from. That's odd. Probably Portland. While this event had a clear purpose, it likely caused several unknowing drivers encountering it to further deepen their personal hatred of cyclists.
Oh shit.
Yeah, this isn't how you change people's mind, bro. This is just how you deepen that hate.
Way to go. Yeah, exactly. This is where some serious hate.
You're literally actually filling in the stereotype of a douchey cyclist, bro.
Hatred, especially whenever you are driving home, to be inconvenienced in any way on your drive.
Yeah, driving home after a long day of being a slave to the corporate machine, and you just see this, bro, and just wasting like an hour of your time.
Home from
you just feel hatred, nothing but hatred for them.
Work. That's where some real shit starts, dude. That's where real hatred.
You should be hating your boss, but the thing that is happening right now is fueling your hatred.
Starts. And one of the major reasons it's not here anymore was the 1997 critical mass disaster. The bigger the critical mass became, the longer that drivers had to sit and wait when they eventually blocked their intersection. This resulted in the hatred of cyclists to grow bigger and bigger. This all came to a head in 1997 during critical mass, when around 5,000 cyclists began their usual monthly ride. 5,000. San Francisco police approved this and created an approved route that they would be allowed to travel on, strongly
Let me guess they didn't go the route.
Urging them to use it. They're like, you know what? 5,000 freaks on bikes. Sure. Alien helmets, your suits, whatever else you want to have.
Skin tight suits where you can see everything.
Leotards, foams, whatever else you guys want to have. Just use this route, please, would you, please? But they opposed to this, and it was decided that the police would attempt to fully shut down the event. This led to thousands of cyclists breaking off into groups, essentially swarming the entire city and creating hours of widespread traffic in an attempt to avoid being herded by the police. If you are not a cyclist hater, how are you still not by now? Drivers and cyclists were at each other's throats. People were screaming.
See, this is how the race war will actually happen. By a literal race of the cyclists versus the drivers.
Throwing things and spitting at each other. Hundreds of cyclists were being arrested, some in brutal fashion.
Hey, why your hands up like that, bro?
Love that. Love this. Man, I wish we had some B-roll. I wish we had from this event just a guy with a billy club just being like, stop it! Dragging a guy off his like mongoose bike. Ha, ha, ha! Just hitting his shins real hard. Is that wrong? Is that too much?
Yeah, I think that's too much, I think.
While it was incredibly dangerous and chaotic, it actually pushed the city to create bike lanes and help cyclists share the space with drivers. If this was a form of protest, it definitely
Well, it did work, I guess.
succeeded. That's why I have zero respect for San Francisco. The three main reasons I hate San Francisco. 1, the Giants. 2, the Golden Gate Bridge. Too many people jump off of it. Just figure that out. 3, they really help push bicycle lanes.
How are you meant to stop people from jumping off, bro? It's literally designed to be jumping off of, bro. It's a huge bridge, and it was basically just immediately like a 99% chance that you will die if you jump off of it, you know? How do you stop people from jumping off, bro?
And for that, I think that the city should be burned to the ground. Thank you. And good night. Or we can talk about something cool like in 2011, when a critical mass event in Brazil ended in tragedy as a driver drove his car through a massive group of cyclists.
Yeah, there is really nothing to stop drivers from just like plowing through them.
You push people to the...
Maybe if there's like 20 of them in a row, maybe that would stop it.
Break, Nick! You push him to the edge! This man responsible was a 47-year-old man named Ricardo Nice, who was fed up of being held up by the group. He claimed that nearby participants were threatening to flip over his car, and that he sped away from them in an act of self-defense. Another cyclist who witnessed the event claimed that Ricardo simply wanted to get past them, and that he was in fact the person dishing out threats. I'm gonna go on a limb here and definitely say Ricardo was probably in his car and he's just like, "Fucking move!" And after he didn't respond, he's like, "Good." He just,
Yeah, this is Brazil, so who knows?
you know what I mean?
Probably was him.
And 16 people were caught in the crash, and many were left with severe injuries.
And they have, imagine the concrete scraping you, bro. And they were all wearing shorts too, bro.
Luckily, nobody died. I will say at the beginning of the video, I don't condone this. I know I'm joking around a lot, but I want to say that the way that they were, it was too much of a leisurely stroll. If it was another
Why are you rollerblading?
too, if it was like they're really going at it, they're going fast, I think it'd be a different thing. It just seems like complete and utter protest of like, we're gonna take our time, right?
That's what it is. It's always a protest.
Why do I feel like you have a bicycle?
No.
I could definitely see you being.
No, I don't. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? How dare you even suggest that?
Being a cyclist, dude. That's f***ed up. Or we could talk about when a furious driver bit a cyclist's ear.
What? He did a Mike Tyson, bro? What?
Now we're getting to the part of the video that I like. In 2009, a driver named Curtis Cross from
How would he even
Indiana
how would he be in a position to do that?
into a heated exchange with Jeffrey Guffey, a cyclist. The alternation ended with Curtis biting off a chunk of his earlobe. God damn! Curtis had been driving fast on the road in his pickup truck when Jeffrey yelled at him to slow down. Already, dude. Dude, cyclist, don't act brave. If you have a guy from Indiana in a like double F-250, slow down, asshole. You better believe them brake lights are coming on. You know what I mean? After being flipped off, Curtis abruptly parked his truck and charged towards Jeffrey's. Just grabbed him. What started as a fight between the
immediately just bull rushes him, bro.
two ramped up fast. According to Jeffrey, he struck him to the ground and proceeded to bite his ear off and spit the chunks out directly in his face. Awesome. Turner's lawyer claimed it was self-defense and his use of force was justified. Well, you know.
Yeah, I don't think it was self-defense, bro. He stopped. He could have kept going.
Curtis was ultimately released from jail with a $3,200 bond. Curtis looks like a guy that would bite somebody's ear off.
Have you ever rid your bike and someone got mad at you?
No, because I am on a bike. If I was ever in someone's way, I'd be like, oh, sorry about that. Or in 2007, police arrested 34-year-old Yonan Inouye after he stabbed a driver during a heated fit of rage. In the middle of a busy intersection, a male driver cut off Yonan as he was cycling beside him. Enraged, he caught up to the car and began a verbal confrontation. When both of them stopped to argue, Yonan suddenly
You fucking asshole.
pulled out a screwdriver
I will hack your bank account.
and began to stab the man in the neck and face through the window. He was charged with aggravated assault and assault causing bodily harm. The victim was sent to the hospital with injuries that, while severe, were not life-threatening.
Got stabbed in the f***ing neck and
Got stabbed him 6 or 7 times, and he's just like, I'm good, I'm fine. In 2008, 2 people were brutally
He didn't want to pay that medical bill, that's why.
injured after an irritated driver was fed up with driving alongside cyclists in a city. Don't blame him. Christopher Thompson, a surgeon, he's even a doctor, Nick. He's a doctor, a learned man. Thompson was sick and tired of sharing the road with cyclists in his home, going so far as to tell police later on that he wanted to, quote, teach them a lesson. This is a learned man, a surgeon, all right? How many years of medical school he had to go through to be in this? Do you think he's level-headed? I think he is. No, I think he is. To do this, he purposely passed the 2 of them in his car before slamming on the brakes. He brake checked him. This caused Ron to slam his face onto the back window, resulting in breaking his front teeth and nose, as well as slashing his face. Christian, however, had his shoulders separated, and he tumbled onto the road. How sick would it be if he got out of his car, though, and he gave him his surgeon thing? He's like, I can clear that up for you. He puts it in his pocket. In an attempt to gain sympathy,
What,
Thompson
his card, bro?
assured the judge that he was merely frightened by the cyclist and wanted photos of their suspicious behavior. I agree. He's a learned man, Nick. Don't act, Nick. You look very confused. I was afraid too. I've been afraid of cyclists. It makes sense to me. I think he's gonna get out of this okay. This was not received well. He had already been convicted of an aggressive encounter with 2 other cyclists only
Oh, what? So he already did this before, huh?
days prior. Poor guy had hate in his heart, bloodshed. In 2010, he cried his eyes out as he apologized to the 2 cyclists before being sentenced to 5 years in prison. I think it's a bit steep for bicyclists, really. Hopefully no one needs a searching for their heart. Or in 2022, Mark Gringle had an altercation with an insane driver that ended up with him in a wheelchair. In Ravensdale, Washington, Gringle was training for an Ironman triathlon.
No one's got the same glasses, too.
Chair. In Ravensdale,
Get better glasses.
Washington, Gringle was training for an Ironman triathlon. While cycling on the road, a car sped past him and just barely rammed into him. And Gringle admits to flipping off the man as he flew by, and the driver reacted by parking his car to prepare for an altercation. If you ever feel wronged in your life, it's okay. You don't need to flip anybody off, especially if you're, I'm not to be sexist or anything, if you're a woman and you like flip off a crazy guy, you have no idea. You have no idea what could happen. Happened to my wife. I was so upset when she's like, yeah, a guy ran past and I flipped him off. A guy just like ran into her and broke off the fucking front bumper of her car and he drove away. We never
Really?
even knew who he was. If you're ever just slided, bury it deep and yell something in your head, but just let it slide. You never know where someone's at with teetering on the verge of insanity. You could have a guy, you could flip somebody off, he just gets out and beats you to death with a pipe. Just let it be, dude. Let heads.
Especially in America, bruh. If you, like, try to fight someone, bro, they just pull a gun on you and shoot you dead in the street like a dog.
Have their, because they're like, hey, I win. But then they have to go home to their pathetic life inside their own mental prison. So who really wins? Gringle began panicking and tried to pass by the car quickly. As he attempted to, he was brutally assaulted to the point of losing consciousness. Wait, so what is that? What does that mean? He's like, oh, he get grabbed? What happened? His pelvis, collarbone, and ribs were broken. My God, his lung was punctured as well. Just let people just go.
Dang, bro. It could not be that. It's never this deep that you gotta do this to another person, bro.
Oh my God. He was bound to a wheelchair for several months. He stayed hopeful that he would recover sooner and be able to cycle once again, but the man responsible for the hit and run was nowhere to be found.
Dang.
Dang it. Darn it. I hate that. I'm sure they'll find him one day. Or in 2024, 2 cyclists were chased down and shot at during a charity event.
What? How'd they find him, bro? Wouldn't they just cycle away?
Cyclists took part in a 16-mile ride to end hunger charity event.
How does that help anyone? How's that ending hunger?
16-mile ride to end hunger. I think by the end of this, there's going to be a lot of full bellies. Let's go, guys. Which angered 66-year-old David Earl Buston. He was fed
Why'd that anger him?
up with the cyclist taking up room on the road, getting in the way. He quickly swerved around them, attempting to force them off the road. Instead of going on about his day, he decided to get back at them for inconveniencing him. Buston parked his car and loaded a Winchester Model 1300 shotgun. He shot 3 rounds toward the passing cyclist and missed every shot.
How'd you miss with a shotgun, bro? It's only designed to not miss, bro. How? How far were you? You had to be like really far to miss, bro. How? Or does he just have bad aim?
He was found by police and taken into custody, later being charged with first-degree assault and reckless endangerment.
Oh, what is attempted murder?
What a fucking dipshit. How can you be that angry? Like, don't get me wrong, I hate cyclists, don't get me wrong, but to pull over and just be like, I'm gonna kill him. And then you go about, you miss every shot, what are you, a fucking moron? My God. And lastly, in 2017, cyclist John Weisenberger was nearly run over by an enraged driver.
That's a last name. What? That's gotta be German. That's German.
After confrontation on the road. 55-year-old Matthew Engel had turned onto the street to find Jan taking up the center of the lane. Furious, Engel pulls up next to him and begins screaming at him. After a heated back and forth, Engel drives past him only to put the car in reverse and attempt to run the man over. As Jan tells him he's on camera, the enraged driver screams that he's going to get his shotgun and shoot his head off before driving away.
Get out of the town! All of you little bastards!
You're on camera! You're on camera! You're on camera! You're on camera, motherfucker! Come here!
That's the opposite reaction. You're on camera. Cool. I'm gonna murder you.
Yeah, bro. If you tell him he's on camera, he's just gonna make, I gotta kill you, because if you post that, then my life is basically over. Bro, you're just making it more aggressive. What do you think is gonna happen?
Camera.
You're on camera. Oh, I'll stop doing what I'm doing. No, bro, he's just gonna shoot you.
Matthew Engel has been charged with reckless driving and declines to comment on what took place that day. He was risking facing up to 90 days in prison for his violent actions. He was thrown out after Engel proved to be taking anger management classes. Wow. So he's just like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And the judge is just like, it's fine. He's taking anger management classes. He didn't really do it, did he? Here's the thing. Drivers and cyclists have been in an ongoing feud for a very long time. And it seems silly to put blame on one side or the other, which we will. Cyclist. The truth is that there are asshole drivers and there are asshole cyclists out there. And both groups need to be more active in effort to try to share the road with each other. I think, personally, you need a new hobby, okay? A 4-ton vehicle is gonna beat a 120-pound man on a bicycle. Whatever happened to mountain biking?
Dang, 120? Sure, it's an adult man.
Right? Whatever happened to trails? Now we have to do it like, dude, I have to get my fix around my neighborhood. 5 p.m. I got up real early for my coffee job. I don't know why I keep bringing the barista thing. I think it's just because the guy that hit the side of my wife's car, I'm pretty sure he was a barista. He had like a coffee house shirt thing on, whatever.
His Starbucks apron on.
Definitely, there's no way they'd be Starbucks. It has to be some local thing where a cup of coffee costs $9.
Local hipster shit.
Etc., etc. All I know is this: cyclists are one of the more annoying, I don't know, subsects of people out there, right?
Damn.
You have gym people who can be annoying in gyms and try to be the alpha in situations. But when it comes to people getting in full-fledged assaults, people shooting guns at each other, granted all those were the car drivers, but I think it's more so just the...
Most of the cars were the aggressor, bro.
The idea of feeling like you're going to inconvenience someone just because you're on a bike. You need to share the road on either side, right? So this is what I gotta say. If anything, this has became more of a road rage video. I would say if at the end of the day, if you feel like somebody slighted you, swallow that pride. Going home and relaxing, hey, give it 10 minutes, you're gonna feel totally fine. Don't ruin the rest of your life over a second of anger that pushes you to do something that you're probably gonna regret for
I just messed up his car, bro. What are you doing?
the rest of your life. And also, run over every cyclist you see on the road. All I gotta
In Minecraft.
say is that's my video for today. If you get on a bike, be careful out there. Take it easy.
Alright, that's make sure to go like and subscribe, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.